Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood, and today I'm going to be bringing you all some Napoleon Total War multiplayer gameplay. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 on the Galician map, and it's long overdue. I jumped back into the game this last week here. A lot of people have been asking me for more Napoleon gameplay, which I used to upload quite frequently, but recently been very into the newest game, Rome 2, but this is still a great game here. So, my opponent is going to be Billy the Kid. He'll be playing as France, and I am going to be Prussia here. And once again, it is the Galician map, was one of my favorite maps in Napoleon Total War. So, here we are, guys, on the actual battle map, and we'll be able to look at my army. It was kind of a foggy, not really, but not a nice sunny battle like sometimes it is. This map can be very pretty. Kind of gloomy right now, but just a quick overview. Right here is the important part in the middle of the map. I don't know if you guys can see. Right there is where I am. So not the middle, but off to one side. This is where most people usually rush, and I'm going to deploy kind of facing it. There's a giant hill here between the two armies, so it's very useful to get that. I have had some battles more frequently in 2v2s that were over on this side, but it's going to be an interesting battle here because I have not played this game in months, and it is definitely different. I was very rusty. You'll see some moments where I could have reacted faster, and you can see that like my reactions were immediate. Like I see something coming in and my men are moving. But the thing I'm not used to is they don't automatically run like they do in Shogun and Rome Total War, Rome 2 that is. So my units will just kind of be taking their time getting to a spot I really needed them to be, even though I ordered them there when I needed them to be there. So, you know, just getting back in the swing of some of the older game mechanics. But now that my army is set up, we'll take a look. I've got 2 Jaeger units and 4 Prussian Fusilier for my skirmishing. Then I've got 4 musketeer units with a foot guard on either flank, and then 2 more foot guards in reserve. I've got my general staff, a Brandenburg Ulan, a lancer unit, and then 2 more lancers here in the trees. So we will go ahead and speed up through the deployment phase and take a look at my opponent's army, which this is actually the first time I'm really going to get a good look at it because I was trying to remember how moving all the troops in this game works, and I never saw really the full thing. So I see Voltigeurs, Chasseurs, 2 Chasseur units, 3, so it looks like 4 skirmishing total. And then he's got some old guard on this flank with a young guard, and those are his elite units there. Polish Legion, and it looks like he's got 4 of them, as well as 3 Swiss foot. So in total, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry, and I believe I fielded 8 with my 4 foot guard units. So overall, I have more elite units. My opponent's also got some cavalry. He's got this carabiner in here, and there are some more cav units hidden back in there. I can't see them yet. One of them's here, actually. Chasseurs, a cheval. These guys are, well, all of these guys, not this unit actually. This unit here, God, these trees are in the way, are rifle cavalry. I can't talk right now, and I'm trying to remember all of this. You guys can tell, I used to be flawless at this stuff, trying to remember this good old game here. But back in the woods over here, he's got more Chasseurs, a cheval hidden that will pop out later, just before I forget them. But this is kind of a key moment. Right here, I made a stupid mistake. I charge in here, and I did get into these Voltigeurs and kill almost 20 of them. But one, I shouldn't have charged with my Brandenburg Ulan. These guys are a very elite unit. Well, in terms of actual Lancer cavalry, they're really not that expensive. But they are my best cavalry unit on the field, and of course, square formation, these guys can fire, and they're going to take down a decent bit of them. I'm going to lose almost half of my men there, so it was not a good trade-off for those little bit of kills on the Voltigeurs. Now right here I was thinking about moving my Jaegers over. They're going to start taking fire and I'm going to run them back around this way to try to block some of that, because right now you can see for the most part this hill is going to be in the way, so my men are not on fire at will, or else they would be shooting at these guys here, and I don't want to waste ammo on the hillside. I did manage to remember that, but my opponent is going to get to this hill faster. He's set up on the hill. When I march up over the ridges, you'll see he's going to get the first shot. His men are all lined up there. There's those old guard and stuff in the back. So what my plan's going to be, you can see I'm not even really properly lined up to go marching forward. I was thinking about putting some foot guards over there and moving up. But I'm just going to fall back. And over here on the left, you can see his cavalry's moving up a little bit, and I'm going to go after these guys. So right here, you can see my men falling back. First thing I'm going to do is fall straight back, and then I'm going to start moving left. My reasoning for this was, first, the reason to fall straight back is so that when I start moving left, I've got some distance so that I can turn and face him if he decides to come down after me. Otherwise, he'd be able to catch me while my entire army's flank is turned. But I wanted to move around to the left here and set up kind of like so, like a straight line here, and then march in this way. That way, one, I'm moving up through the woods, and also, he doesn't have that great of a position. He's still on the hill, but it's not as long of a hill there from this side. Much shorter, much more even all around. So I'd be moving up a hill in the middle, but he would not have this full advantage. So I just thought it would be a better position to attack from. Maybe I could put some guys in those trees. So my men are all running over. You can see I'm starting to move to the left. I've got some units guarding that flank just as I prepare to move this way. And just from how my men are facing, you can tell I'm planning on moving that way. So he's going to actually start moving down after me. And I'm just going to let this happen, because as my men move over, I see that the way he's moving, I'm not really going to be able to get over here. He's going to block me off. I wanted to go for a cav charge here on these Voltigeurs, but unlike skirmishers in Rome, these guys in a single volley will pretty much destroy my cavalry. Head-on charges are bad there. You can see this enemy cavalry coming up. And I'm going to withdraw my skirmishers there, square formation, and return a charge with my lancers. So this unit of carabiners is going to be fairly quickly just shot down and killed by lancers. And my other unit of lancers is coming in on the flank of these chasseurs à cheval. And we're going to kill a few of these guys here. And you can see my opponent has moved up. And once again, I'm going to make the comment now. Obviously, I'm recording right now, so I'm not looking back at the video, but I think all my audio settings are the same. I can't remember what I had them at. So hopefully audio balance is fine. If not, in the next video I will fix it. Sorry about that in advance if that's the case. But I'm going to pull back my lancers. They killed a few of those cavalry, but I did not want them getting over here to where these Swiss foot and everything could fire on me. And it looks like they did fire a volley, but it was blocked by this hill. Maybe even killed one of their own guys there. Look at him all stretched out. So at this point, the way my opponent's moved up, it's pretty apparent he wanted me to attack him on the hill, but he's going to come down after me. And he was actually getting kind of mad at me in the chat, saying that I was camping in spawn. And right now I am pretty much in my deployment. My plan was to move around to the left. That's why my army and everything was facing that way and not towards his. But since he pushed on me, I ended up having to make a defense here. So you can see he does have more infantry. Overall, I've got the better infantry, but I'm trying to set up here, and our men are firing. Right here, honestly, is not the best position for firing. So we're going to stop that pretty soon. His men are doing the same thing. Look at that. They're just shooting right into the ground here. Really got to pay attention to some positioning. His men are just wasting ammo. But what I did that's going to be very key is I actually put one of my Jaeger units in this house here, and I'm going to end up putting a foot guard in there as well. And that's going to play a major role in this battle, just having that little bit of fortification. Since I am fairly rusty at the game, I'm not going to be able to respond to everything quite as quickly as I would like. I've moved most of my cavalry over here because you can see the French cavalry has come out of the woods, and there's some Polish guard lancers there, and the 2 chasseurs à cheval. And these guys, this is a dangerous unit. And you can see my 1 skirmish unit here getting beat in the trees, although I'm moving a foot guard onto the flank. And we're going to get to watch these guys fire at those chasseurs over that direction. So here we go. Men opening fire, and you can see the French guys in the trees back here. So firefight going on there. You can see the smoke starting to build up. Over here I'm moving my cavalry a little bit, and his chasseurs à cheval are moving up. Now this is dangerous, charging these guys like this, because of that. Now surprisingly, that volley did almost nothing, and his follow-up volley killed a ton of his own men. So that was just bad positioning on my opponent's part. And once again, when I say that, I'm not trying to be mean to him, I'm just pointing out what is going on in the battle. But he ended up killing a ton of his own troops there. But it is dangerous to charge those units from the front, because if you get to them, you'll destroy them. They're not melee cavalry. You can see my other lancer unit got solidly defeated by these Polish guard lancers, of course. However, I have foot guards and a skirmisher unit here that are going to start opening fire on these guys. But over here, just by numbers, he's going to end up winning. But charging those units from the front, you can get shot down. And here he's charging his Polish guard lancers. I put my foot guards into square. And one mistake I'm going to make is I should have left these guys in square. When he runs off, I'm going to actually take them out of square and try to fire. And then he's going to actually catch them because I moved away without thinking. But over here on this flank, he is starting to move some young guard and old guard around towards my right. You can see I'm lining up foot guards and a musketeer unit in these trees to hopefully fight them. You can see them sitting out there in the field, preparing to move forward. And now I have put this foot guard unit into this building, and you can see, although minimal from this side, I am getting some flanking fire on some of his units. And what I'm doing is I'm moving up my men, and this is another instance where they should have been running. They're just walking up, so they're just going to be taking fire while not actually returning. And there I notice it and actually make them start running. But I have now moved to a spot where my men can actually shoot them without shooting the hill. And my skirmishers here are going to both suck up a little bit of fire and help me win this fight. And then over here, just better positioning. He is on the flank of these skirmishers, but I am solidly on the flank of this Polish Legion unit, and these guys are going to try to shift. They're not running either, though, and they're just going to start dropping. And there they go. They're going to rout. Now that unit actually does come back a little bit later. The morale penalty stacked up there, but you can see they've got half their force left. So he's going to fill that hole with a chasseur unit and 2 more Polish Legion moving into the fray. And over here I'm going to get the first shot on these Voltigeurs running in. Killed a few of the old guard and a little bit of these young guard here. But this is going to be a tough fight for me. These Voltigeurs are pretty beat up. They're not going to help all that much, but old guard are a scary unit. Best infantry unit in the game. Of course, getting these first shots is really helping me, especially since his men are shifting around and not actually returning fire right now. But over here you can see what remains of my old guard. He actually managed to kill them, and he charged back towards my general. I'm going to let my general stay in this fight because his cavalry is so depleted that we're going to be able to shoot them down, and I'll take my men back out of square here. But that was my mistake, not keeping these guys in square here to keep that cavalry away. And that's a big unit to lose, those old guard on my flank, because now my opponent's going to start wrapping around this flank with my Swiss foot. So if we enlarge the mini-map here, although my opponent's stretched out and there's a gap in his lines here, he is getting around both of my flanks, and I'm trying to figure out how I can deal with this. Right here things are a little bit interesting. I've got my musketeers firing at these Polish Legion right in the front. And here, this is a really strange setup. Thank God this Polish Legion unit was firing at these guys, but my musketeers are actually on the flank over here, firing into the Swiss foot in the trees. And you can see I've got another foot guard in the back there. Those men running through the trees and firing back. And it's at this point that I'm going to start retreating some of these men, because you can see I've got 3 units of Swiss foot all firing on the flank of this 1 foot guard. So I'm going to see this. I think I do route these guys. It's really hard to get camera angles in these trees here. But these guys of Swiss foot are going to go ahead and route. And these Polish Legion kind of moving around. Here, my musketeer unit is going to actually take out these Polish Legion. And one thing I did do is I had moved another musketeer back around this way. Now these guys could have really helped on that flank, but I moved them back around this side of the house, and they took out like 2 units back here, and earlier they had stretched around like so to fire on the flanks of these guys. Here my musketeer unit that is out of ammo is just stalling these French. They don't have the numbers to actually win here, but it is just buying time for my foot guards to fall back. And here's an example of when I should have. I was expecting that automatic run, totally not happening there. Once again, back to this flank. This is just another case of getting slightly better angles, and now I'm rushing this musketeer unit over, because my whole thing here was if I can quickly finish this flank, I can bring my guys back over to fight the advancing Swiss foot there. So my foot guards are going to be in a melee fight with these young guard, and they're going to win that. These old guard are firing in on the flank, and I think my foot guards are actually going to rout here. They're out of ammo as well, so they're just going to charge these old guard, and these 2 musketeer units are going to start firing. Now this old guard unit, still a very dangerous unit, but my 2 musketeer units should be able to take them out. And another instance of expecting automatic run. That honestly was my biggest mistake this entire game, just moving my troops incorrectly. So these guys are going to try to take down that. You can see the French advancing here. Right now it looks really bad for me. I've got these 2 units of musketeers. I've got the 1 Jaeger unit here. And these guys are just kind of standing and staring. And now they're going to be like, nope, don't want to do that. They're going to run back into this house. Key thing is I do have a full foot guard unit in this house, though. And that's going to be massive. I believe I've got a few guys in the trees here. Yep, I've got a foot guard, my general there, and a musketeer. And see, all those flags were hidden by those trees. But, so I actually do have a decent amount of units left. I've got the 2 musketeers there, a foot guard, a musketeer there, and a full foot guard in this house. And these guys are coming over. My 2 musketeer units are managing to whittle down this old guard. That poor guy being the only one to drop from that volley. And this fight's going on there. Now right here, my opponent is going to decide to storm this house with these Polish Legion. He's got a Polish Legion, 2 of them in there. One of them's pretty depleted. But once again, fresh foot guard unit in melee in the house like this against these Polish Legion is going to be a pretty easy fight for my men, especially now that they're being backed up by one of my musketeer units. So him having to storm this house is really going to help me. And so his 3 units versus my 3, although these Jaegers are not meant for melee. Over here we've routed that old guard. I ignored these Voltigeurs in my back. I knew they were there, but I figured they couldn't cause that much damage. They're going to do a little bit of a rear charge here as my phone annoyingly rings in the background. And I will actually silence that for you guys. Yeah, sorry about that there. That always seems to happen. That phone, we have 2 lines in our house, and that one's for other things, for work and stuff, but it only ever rings when I'm recording. Only time it ever does there. But my men are going to beat those Voltigeurs in melee. You can see they keep firing. They just completely ignore them. There's not many of them. And so here my 2 musketeer units are going to get flanking fire on this Swiss foot. The 2 of them are going to just put out a volume of fire. These guys can't return. And once again, some chasseurs running in there. And over here in this house, my foot guard unit lost like half of its strength, but with the help of these musketeers, it's pretty solidly defeated these guys. See, I don't even know if I can get to a spot. You can see some of the melee fighting going on here. These guys are going to run out. And over here, my men have defeated that unit. Just my opponent's general is left. So there was a sweeping French push through these woods that forced me to fall back. I used this house as my anchor, managed to defeat this flank of the French army, and now my men, I've got some decently manned units left, foot guards there, and these two musketeers still doing well, chasing down this general. And my opponent at this point is going to go ahead and leave the game, I believe, or these guys just rout. But he was running them away, and that's the end of it. So you can see the stats there. I took quite a bit of losses. My opponent actually deployed a little bit more than me. He is going to lose more troops than me, but for both of us, it was an extremely bloody game. I lost 3/4 of my force there, or 2/3, my bad. I can't math right now. And there we go. I got 1,221 kills. He got 929. My best units, those musketeers on the flank, and then 2 of my foot guard units, another musketeer, foot guard, musketeers, all that good stuff. One of my foot guard units just got wrecked down here. Totally not worth the cost. But in the end, that's that. So, hope you guys enjoyed that battle. I have at least one more to show you, and I will be playing more soon, hopefully. Gonna get used to the mechanics once again, so I don't have to continuously derp like that with walking my men all over the place. I'm sure they like it, but it's not good for the army. Anyways, guys, I will see you all next time with more. Thank you for watching.